Thank you guys for joining me on the Full Spiritual Alchemist. It's been a long time coming getting this going. I'll tell you what, every time I get the notion, get the time, get the energy, something else happens. And I don't let it get me down. I just keep in mind that, you know, there might be a reason that I didn't start it yet. And all day today, I've been thinking to myself, tonight is the worst possible time to be starting right now, and I'm gonna do it anyways because I have to. I've got to get this message out. I've got to get this out the way. So right now I have a hospice patient who's also a friend and sister in Christ to me, and I have been caring her for the last couple of months. She is stage 4, terminally ill. The name of her cancer is myxofibrosarcoma. It's a very rare and aggressive, fast-moving cancer, and she's been battling for a little while now. It's inoperable. She's no longer on the chemo. She's, like I said, she's in hospice now. So I am going to take this time, and she has given me full permission to share her story. Her and I have bared one another's testimony and with and for one another. I think our lives are intertwined at this point. I am one of her primary caregivers. I'm one of her power of attorneys. This is somebody that I've only known for a little over a year. Um, I so let me just give you a little backstory. I moved to where I am now about a year ago, and I came out here to heal myself from my own health issues that I had going on at the time, and that's another story. So when I first got here, she was one of the very first people that I met at the church, and I kind of knew when I met her that she's one of the reasons I ended up moving here. I got a prompt, and then, a prophecy that I was to be in hospice work. So I already knew that when I met her and she was talking about, this cancer that she was battling, that I was in her life and she was in mine for a reason. So I more and less thought that it was me to serve her, because, like I said, I'm her primary caregiver at this point, one of them. But she has taught me so many lessons just in the last week, that I really have to come and speak about it. And the first thing that I want to talk about is a little bit of her backstory, without giving too much. She has had an extremely hard life. She has battled with mental health issues. She's bipolar and schizoaffective, and so she does experience like delusion, hallucination, different things that go along with that disorder, among like mood issues as well. So she has suffered with that for a very long time. And then, with the addiction as well, she had kicked hard drugs for a while, kind of turned to alcohol for a little bit, and then back to the hard drugs. And so prior to her doing this last round of chemo, she was still in active addiction. And I was working on her. I mean, I was working on her so tough, trying to um, align her with where she needed to be and try to get her on the right path, because I knew that she was working from, stage 3 where she was when I first met her to now where she's stage 4 and terminal. So it has taken every bit of this year to get her um, where she needs to be spiritually in order to make this journey home. And it has been a roller coaster for both of us over the last 3 weeks. So when they gave her the diagnosis that she was inoperable and she was really, really sick, she chose not to go into a facility for hospice. She chose to stay at home, but she doesn't have any family or anybody close near her, anybody that can really help her aside from me and another one of my fellow sisters from the church. So we have been taking turns intermittently caring for her, and we're talking like from 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning. And I have a camera set up in her house. I had placed another iPhone in her house for my second line so that I could FaceTime and see her. Um, between the two of us, we have literally been trying to get her comfortable, get her medications, get her paperwork signed, get her, stuff notarized that she needs, figure out who's going to do what and contact who. And I mean, there's no, she does have family, but nobody that's willing to do any of this. She burned a lot of bridges, and the biggest bridge that she burned was with her surviving daughter, who is in her 30s now. My patient is 50. And so, they haven't spoken in about a year. They had a really big falling out. There's a whole big backstory with them, but the daughter is very adamant about wanting absolutely nothing to do with my patient because of, you know, how they grew up and their dynamic. And it's very personal to me because I have very similar issues with my own mother. I don't have a relationship with her. I have never had a relationship with her. My my mother and I have we're pretty much dead to each other, and that's a personal choice that I made 10 years ago, to not want that in my life. And she has kind of hinted around to it, to other people and through other means, pretending to be other people, that she would like to have a relationship. But I'm working on trying to forgive my mom. And this, what I'm going through with Sarah, is really helping me to understand how and why I need to forgive my mom. When her daughter was informed that she was this ill, she made some horrible, horrible, horrible comments. And I was so shocked and appalled. And then I thought to myself, wow, I've said the same things about my own. So I was just like, wow, like I could see myself in her. I could see myself in her shoes and vice versa. And it really put some things into perspective for me. And the one thing that I truly do struggle with is forgiveness. And of all the things that I don't struggle with, it seems like forgiveness would be the most simple of all of them, but it really isn't when, you're just so hurt, and unable to heal, really. Like, when you don't have understanding, it makes it really hard to heal. And as a daughter, I think I understand, but as a mother, I could never, to my children. And so trying to break generational curses and, um, growing my ministry has been my main major focus, not having that type of negativity in my life. And it has truly benefited me. I'm blessed. I'm healed. I mean, that's another story for another day. So the main message that I guess I want to get across is that this experience with her has really taught me how to, um, basically fulfill my obligations and to continue on my covenant path. And for, those of you who are not familiar what a covenant path is when you make a promise to God, and in return you receive a blessing or, spiritual gifts, really kind of whatever you've earned or, become worthy of. And so as I'm walking my covenant path, and I am, on my strictest obedience and working, as hard as I can to be a better person, I'm trying to take as many people with me as I can, because I used to be a heathen. And I know that it's hard to come back from that. And I'm here to give everyone hope and to spread that little light of hope that it is truly possible to come back from anything. You can manifest whatever you want. I mean, there's a recipe to it now. There's some alchemy in there, and we'll get to that part. But what she has taught me in this situation and being honored and privileged to be a part of it, um, she's taught me how to love my neighbor. That's something that, I mean, I guess I won't say I really had a problem doing because I love my neighbors. I mean, I'd be cooking them little cheesecakes and pies and sending them down the street, and funeral comes and I'm sending pot pies over, and Christmas, or I mean, you name it. I love my neighbors, but people that are not as close to you, maybe like loving your enemy. I won't say that my patient was ever my enemy. We have butted heads. Now that I have a better understanding of why, her personality type has been the way that it has been for the last year, I understand that she's bipolar, schizoaffective, brain tumors, very aggressive cancer, um, and untreated. These mental illnesses were previously untreated prior to, recently that she's been in my care. And so there were times that I wanted to walk away from our friendship because I felt like I couldn't get her right, or I was wasting my time, or I was being used or taken advantage of. And loving people with the unconditional love of Christ is really hard, like, especially when they don't benefit you, or they just kind of, you know, take from you and never really truly give back. And it makes it daunting. It makes it like, I mean, who wants to do that? No, it's not because I want to do that. It's because I'm supposed to, and I'm commanded to do that. And I'm trying to apply the scriptures to my life and be as obedient as possible. What I do in this lifetime, you know, determines my vocation in the next. And I want me a nice little mansion because I surely couldn't afford one in this. So I want a nice one in the next lifetime, and I'm going to earn that. And it's been prophesied that I will and am. So you know, another thing that she's taught me is how to honor my mother and father, because that's another thing that I've struggled with being able to do. How can you honor somebody that has hurt you so much and would never ever do the same for you? I realize that's a human trait. That's a personal choice. Um, Loving somebody with the love of God, you love them unconditionally with no judgment or anything. You just love them anyways. And that's been something really hard for me to understand. And you know, a couple of days ago, you could have asked me, hey, your mom's sick, she's terminally ill, there's nobody to take care of her, she's on her own, it's really dangerous and sad. I would have been like, okay. And today, I would humbly, humbly take care of my mother. I don't have any idea why I just said that or how that happened, but I have a different understanding of the situation from another side now. And I've heard what it sounds like to hear, a mother and a daughter go through that. And it's tragic. And how am I going to break generational curses when I can't even do that myself? And so I'm learning that forgiveness truly isn't for you, it is for other people. Because hold on, my cats are going ham. It is for other people because it frees you from holding a grudge or bearing ill will, but it allows those people to get the blessings that they're supposed to receive. And that's how God works through us to get our blessings. So when they say forgiveness is for them, not for you, it's true. Because when you forgive them, they're able to receive the blessings that they should, and you're not blocking them from them. Therefore, you don't block your own, but you don't want to do it for yourself anyways. You really want to do it for other people because at the end of the day, you're going to get the good that's coming to you because you're the good person. Um, God tells us that we shouldn't forgive not just 7 times, but 70 times 7. That's 490 times. I sit back and I reflect. I don't think I've forgiven my mom 490 times. I've probably forgiven her maybe 30 or 40. And so, by my calculations, that leaves about 450. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go strike up a friendship with my mom. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go and look for her and search her out or anything like that. It just means that if and when the opportunity presents itself, my heart is not going to be hardened like it was before. And I can let that those negative things that have held me back or held us back go. And if my mother truly needed me, the ultimate sacrifice would be to allow my, personal feelings go and to love her with the love of Christ, because that's the right thing to do. And although it would be really hard, I know that humbling her through that type of humility might be what she needs in order for her to heal, because hurt people hurt people. She didn't just do these things to me for no reason. I mean, she's very unhappy with herself and insecure. And when you have trauma when you're young, sometimes, and you start doing drugs and you turn to alcohol and bad behavior, it kind of stunts your growth and you stop growing. You get kind of locked into that mind frame. And I think that's what happened to my mom. And I pray that one day she's able to let those things that happen to her go so that she can free herself from that burden and really be able to love people so that people can really love her, because it's sad to not have anybody around you, and it's sad to think that you might die alone. I could never let my patient do that. I could never walk out my door knowing that she's by herself and not have a plan or care in place for her. um and I don't want that for my mother either. I mean, I don't think anybody wishes, I mean, some people do, but I think anybody truly wishes that type of hurt, pain, suffering, to their parent. My mom did a lot of foul things to me, but she did one thing right. She gave birth to me. She brought me here. And that was really the only job she truly had. I mean, yes, she was supposed to love and nurture me and, you know, raise me. But everything's not for everyone, and we all have a purpose in life. So mine is helping people heal, giving back, doing shadow work, um, counseling, caring, service work. Right now, I'm a Sunday school teacher, among other things. Um, I have spent the last few years of my life in total service to God, and like surrendered myself. It has been the most wonderful and spiritual journey in my life since I moved, and I've been where I am for the last year. And I am so grateful to have this opportunity to care for my friend. I'm grateful for this opportunity that I have to minister to everyone, share my testimony, bear my story, help other people, and, free others from bondage, the bondage that not knowing how to forgive or love unconditionally without judgment. And it's hard. So I'm here for you. I love you. And I hope that I see you soon again. Have a blessed one.